The bearded vulture is an old-world vulture that exhibits somewhat special feeding habits, if you will. Like other vultures, it feeds on carrion, but unlike New World vultures, which locate their prey using their sense of smell, these vultures find their prey by sight. This bird is widely distributed across the planet, but depending on its location, it is in serious danger of extinction. For example, in Asia, it can be found in countries like China and the Arabian Peninsula, but in countries like Israel, it has been declared extinct. In Europe, it only inhabits small areas of the Alps and some small regions in Spain, particularly in the Andalusian areas to the north of the country. There are even regions in Africa where it once lived, but these populations have disappeared over time, especially in Europe, due to several reasons which we will explore later. They belong to the Accipitridae family, a group characterized by being diurnal raptors, and are part of the Gypaetus subgenus, or Old World vultures, with 2 known subspecies. It is considered by many to be a magnificent flyer, and rightly so, as it must glide between the mountains of its habitat. These birds are large, with a size ranging from 37 to 49 inches. Their wingspan reaches from 8.2 to 9.8 feet, and they can weigh between 8.8 and 15.4 pounds, making them one of the 5 largest birds in Europe. They have dark plumage with a brown chest and a head full of white feathers, along with feathers that extend from the eye sockets and go beyond the beak, forming a distinctive mustache. This is why its Latin name literally means bearded vulture. If you remember the California condor video, I mentioned that they have a bald head for hygiene, and this is one of the few vultures that breaks that rule. This is due to their diet, as they are birds that occasionally hunt live prey, but prefer carrion. Not just any carrion, though. This is an osteophagus species, feeding on bones left by predators, which are then almost entirely cleaned by other animals. After they feed, it's the bearded vulture's turn to eat the small bits of meat left behind, the marrow and the bones. In other words, it eats the leftovers of other animals' leftovers. This is why, evolutionarily, it still has feathers on its head, as it doesn't need to stick its head into the corpse. It swallows smaller bones without any problem, but for larger ones, such as the humerus, femur, or skull, it needs to break them. It does this by picking up the food and dropping it onto rocks to break it. With its stiff tongue and curved edges, it extracts the marrow as if it were a spoon. It also uses this method to break turtle shells, so if you see one flying overhead, try not to stand directly underneath. It might drop something on your head. This habit of dropping bones to break them is unique to this species, but not all bearded vultures do it. They drop the bones from a height ranging from 98 to 197 feet, facing into the wind, in order to watch the fall. If the bone is not broken with the first drop, they will repeat the process several times. To digest the bones, these birds use a method they share with others, which involves swallowing small stones that are stored. First, the stones pass through the crop, then to the proventriculus for digestion, and in the gizzard, they are ground up by the stones they previously ingested. From there, they pass into the intestines, where most of the nutrients are absorbed and eventually excreted. The bones do not provide an adequate amount of nutrients, but the marrow and fat do, along with the small bits of meat they may consume. They are monogamous animals, forming reproductive pairs that establish themselves when they reach sexual maturity, which occurs between 4 and 5 years of age. These birds have a large territory and are sedentary, rarely changing areas. This species does not exhibit sexual dimorphism. The only difference is that females are slightly larger than males. Some authors claim that they can be distinguished by the coloration of the scara during the mating season, but I don't think it's that easy or effective. They have a reproductive season that begins between September and October, with a very unique courtship in which both birds hold onto each other's talons mid-flight and spiral down during the flight, letting go at the right moment. Talk about extreme relationships. They build a nest in mountain cliffs using sticks, which they cover with animal material. This nest can measure up to 6.6 feet in diameter and 3.3 feet deep. The female lays 2 eggs, and on rare occasions, 3, between December and March. The incubation lasts between 53 and 60 days, with both parents taking turns incubating the eggs. At birth, although both parents take care of feeding and caring for the chicks, they cannot prevent the larger and stronger chick from killing the smaller one, as happens with other species. No one said nature is pretty or fair. However, despite this, they will care for their young for a learning period of between 95 and 247 days, after which they leave the nest. Their lifespan in the wild is 21 years, and in captivity, it can reach up to 45 years, a wide range due to the many problems they face, most of them caused by humans. This species is classified as near threatened globally, but in Europe, it is critically endangered for several reasons. A high percentage of these birds die from poisoning, either from pesticides or from consuming meat contaminated with lead, similar problems faced by the Andean condor and the California condor, which triggers the same issues. Other problems include power lines, where they get electrocuted when landing on high-voltage wires or colliding with them because they don't see them while flying. This is a common issue for many birds, and a possible solution would be to cover the wires with orange fluorescent insulating material so they can see them and avoid electrocution. These threats have reduced their population, and there is a mistaken belief that bearded vultures are hunted indiscriminately. This bird is attributed with behaviors it does not perform, such as kidnapping children or lambs and dropping them to feed on them. However, this is not true for several reasons. Firstly, their diet is mainly based on bones, so they rarely attack live animals, not even in self-defense. If they feel threatened, they simply fly away. Another reason is that their talons, although they may seem strong, are not. They mainly use them to perch, walk, and occasionally hold bones. So, where does all the fear of this animal come from? It is mainly due to its size. Some eagles have the ability to attack lambs and carry them off or push goats off cliffs. There are even reports of eagles with bad reputations attacking grizzly bears or, in extreme cases, people, although these latter cases are very rare. In reality, they avoid getting close to people. This reputation has been transferred to the bearded vulture, and when they are seen flying overhead, people shoot at them out of fear that they will carry off children. Look, if you're scared or see a bearded vulture, it's most likely nothing will happen. It's more likely a dog will harm you than this bird. But if you still have that fear, it's better to take shelter or try to scare them away by putting up flags, so the movement of the flag scares them off. With scientific progress, the study of this bird, including monitoring and breeding, has begun to restore its population. However, if measures are not taken to restore its environment, allowing progress and habitat to coexist, this bird will soon disappear from Europe. It is a bird with an intimidating name and interesting feeding habits, but it helps to completely clean the land of carcasses. Unfortunately, due to human issues, it is disappearing from these regions. I hope you enjoyed the video. If so, please like it and share it so more people can discover this channel. I'll leave my social media links so we can stay in touch. Also, through those platforms, I'll make important announcements regarding the channel. If you're new here, I invite you to subscribe. Thank you very much for watching this video, and I'll see you soon. Goodbye.